Was everybody able, was everybody able to open the recording from last time?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great. No, that's not going to work, so I won't use that. All right, here I go. Okay,
I
dioxin.
can't find your easel on the.
Oh, do you want me to, you want to see it all?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, that's great.
how's that? Okay, if I
Yes.
get in here.
I can see you, but I can't see your easel.
Oh, you need to pin my easel instead of me.
Oh, there you are. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I've got two screens up.
Diane, what
Yeah.
are your two colors on the palette above your green on the left?
Of course you would ask that. This is just from playing the other day. So this one is Glacier Blue, and this one is Lavender. And this is when I was painting for Opus. I was experimenting with all their new colors. And those were two that I had on to paint my strawberry white spirit bear. And I didn't want to throw them out, so I just threw them on the side. I promise I won't use them. All right. I think it's kind of, as David always says, Captain Obvious, to go and put my purples. I think most people will probably agree that they're going to go in here. Does anyone have any other? Oh, did I get that right? No, I didn't. Okay, got that, that. Nope, they're up here, aren't they? Okay. All right. I am looking. Got that. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so I am putting in my number 5 value, and I am using dioxazine purple straight out of the tube, and finally found the little mapping this out. And any other suggestions for colors here?
I think you could almost use ultramarine blue. Like I had it purple originally, and then I went, I'm gonna try ultramarine because I saw so much purple in the reflection of the water. So
Ah,
yeah. So that's why I made that choice. I thought, well, I'll go with two different colors.
yeah, that's a good choice. There is a little one down here, and I'm going to also see how dark that little piece is underneath the green. And so this is not the right shape because we're not going to worry about that little end piece. And I'm just going to try to make this into sort of a nice shape. There we go. And anywhere else you might put dioxazine purple.
I was thinking bottom right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here.
Okay.
Okay, I had violet.
Oh, actually in the center bottom. Seems like that's dark too.
Center, bottom, in here, kind of here or
Yeah,
here.
just at center bottom at just at the edge of where the grass touches the water, where it vertically delineates the water from the grass.
Oh, right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Again, this is not a super easy one, but landscapes aren't. They have a lot of weird puffy things, a lot of things that don't have a lot of structure. So I'm just going to kind of go in, put a few of them in. Do you want me to go further?
Yes.
Okay, I will. And then how do you, take a mask like this and how do you start it without having hundreds of little pieces of green foliage. I did make a little space here for that yellow, that beautiful little green plant down there. And I'm not sure if I want to, do you want me to go all the way through? I kind of had violet in here, but I can go all the way through.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want, anyone else?
Yes.
It doesn't seem as dark. I mean, I can see why you put violet.
Yeah, I think I want to do violet, so I'm just going to mix here. So I'm just mixing magenta with that beautiful dioxazine purple, and I'm just going to put violet in here. If I was doing what you were doing, Helen, I would just make it one color all the way through. What color did you make it, Helen?
I'd have to look. I didn't write it right on my painting.
Okay.
So
You know what? I have it here. I actually, oh no, Natasha's. I have Natasha's here. Okay, so I'm just doing violet and just kind of going around. I wasn't sure I was going to put that little piece in, but that's who I am, and I have painted plein air for, you know, I did do plein air for 7 years. I like putting in a few little extra pieces. It works for me, for my mind. And then I'm just going to kind of go in here. And again, they're kind of pretty blobs. You know, there's no reason why you can't make your shapes really beautiful. And it was good, Helen, that you asked that question about how many masses that we, you know, did, how many masses should we have? Should we do what Susan does, or, you know, should we do kind of what we've been doing with Diane? And I had so many masses on here in the beginning, and then I just erased it all, put it up on my screen, and just went, okay, what's important? And I could see little shadows of things underneath, and then went simpler.
Mhm.
But not as simple as Helen, so bravo. I love that you're diving in and you're going, yeah, well, we're just learning, and it's really cool just to push the boundaries. Okay, there we go. Darks. Okay. So, do I swing now to my lights, or should I finish my darks? Okay, let's finish the darks. So let's, I've got some interesting colors that I've put back here. There are darks and lights back here, darks and lights back here. Quite dark, actually. I think I've got okay, this little piece right back here, and then you've got the green on top of it. What color would you do that dark? There's two of them. There's kind of
Just like cobalt or something.
yeah, I think I've got other thoughts? Anyone?
I just was saying blue, but I wasn't sure what color blue.
Do we want a cool blue? Or do we want a warm blue
Is-
back here for these shadows?
well, that's what I was wondering. Is it more in light? Then you might go with a warmer blue.
I think it's warmer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking too. I was thinking we'll just go with cerulean.
Okay.
Put that in. I am using quite a small brush right now because I want to be a little bit careful with my edges. I don't want to be quite.
Can we paint ours from light to dark instead of dark to light?
You can do whatever you like.
Oh, okay.
It's really up to you. I think that sometimes I will just sock that in to get the light key, and then I will start light to dark because I need to see it. And in other instances, I don't need to see it. It just kind of depends on how much structure I guess there is in the painting. All right, now we have got these beautiful shadows in the water. Ooh, these just yummy ones. What colors should we start with? Suggestions.
I'd said magenta.
Okay. I want to hear from everyone. So, Helen?
Yeah, I haven't had to think this hard because I did the simple ones. Not yet anyway. Let's see.
Okay.
Well, it's got to be duller, right? Or darker.
Yeah, it's dark. It's okay. So what color do we see? We see kind of a warm green. So green and pink. So I would think magenta would be a really good choice. Anyone else have thoughts about that?
Really?
I think I would come to magenta as well.
Yeah, let's do magenta. Let's just see if this value, or if we need to make it a little bit lighter. I think that's pretty good for value. Again, I love doing this with you because there are so many different choices. Okay, here we go. And kind of ends right there. And yes, you're right, Helen. Your stage one will be fast and furious. You'll have it done in 5 minutes because you won't have to make all these crazy choices. And that's one of the reasons why Susan Sarbat made it so simple. So she could paint fast. And that stage one was just meant to be just an intermediate stage, just to lay down almost like a premature, just a base somewhere.
Just seems like it's the, big bones or something, like laying out your
Exactly.
architectural plan, but that's it. You know.
I agree. Okay, I am curious okay, so we've got that, and we've got this band here, okay, and then we go to the shore. Okay, so we've got, what about this band in here that's right, okay, here's the line for where the water starts, and then right below it, we have this band that's reflecting the dryness of all the stalks. And I would say, is it in light or is it in shadow?
Shadow.
Yeah, you're right. And it probably should be a little bit, it shouldn't be magenta. Maybe it could be,
Manganese.
oh, interesting. Okay. Ophelia?
Purple,
Okay.
like a light purple.
Yeah. Yeah, I had violet as one
Yeah.
choice. I love manganese though too, because I do
Yeah.
see blue in there. But I might want to put manganese here instead and put the violet in the water. Any other thoughts?
That sounds good.
I think the violet
Okay.
sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. So you could use a permanent mauve here if you wanted to. That's a color I love. I have added to my palette.
Can you use permanent mauve in It's only in shadow then?
Yes.
Okay.
Just for stage 1.
Okay.
Okay, what have I got there? That's something different. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to ask you the color below. I'm just going to get you to think about the color below it just while I'm putting this in. My paint's a little bit dry
Oh.
here. Is this helpful to do it this way?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I am totally open to your suggestions. Sorry, David's got the kettle on. I love having an open studio, but sometimes it's so nice to be able to shut a door and not have the cats walk all over your gesso. I was gessoing some blocks for the next color course, and of course Thomas put his nose on it, and then he had a big round spot on his nose of gesso,
Oh,
and we had to scrape it off. We just couldn't
Oh,
wipe it off because it dried right away. I'm sure you all go through interesting things with your animals. And maybe you, Natasha, with your children.
One time, Ruby, with my painting of Maybe, Ruby, I showed it to Ruby and she started barking at it like it was a dog.
Whoa,
I love that. I was like, that's the best compliment ever. Thanks, Ruby.
good energy. Okay, I guess I'm premature on this because do we have any more shadows? Okay, I just want you to squint. Look at I'm squinting, I'm looking, shadow, shadow.
Diane, can you help orient me? Where is the water line on this? Is it above that
Right
violet you
above
just
this.
painted?
Yeah, just right here, right above this beautiful violet.
Okay.
So I'm squinting, squinting.
this shape next to it, but above the purple on the left. Is that?
You know what? I think I might have, okay, there's not, okay, this. We have to do this in shadow, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, what color are we gonna do that? So it's in half light, half shadow. Probably,
Cobalt or manganese?
we were thinking manganese, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do magenta, but we've got a ton of that kind of going, and there is a coolness. There's a beautiful kind of coolness in there. So yeah, let's go manganese. I love that color. How's that feel? Little, no, I think that's about the right value. It could also be cerulean. This might be a little bit bright, but that's okay. We will dull it down. So we see this in shadow, and we are painting at manganese. And yes, it is a little hard to find these little areas.
This is light purple.
There we go. Are you able to see these areas? Are they big enough? Some of you
Yeah.
might just be using.
Yes.
Do
Okay.
you think it's important with the reflection to have it in a different color? Like, could I do like a permanent mauve and then permanent mauve in the water as a reflection, or do you want it to be different in the reflection?
Oh, good question. What do you think?
I think I would put it the same, but I would just dull the water later, you know?
Yeah. If you want to make a bigger difference, I would pull the colors apart. I know that
Okay.
Susan would say try to pull the colors apart as much as possible, unless it's one big section like Helen is doing.
Okay.
And then I would want it to be different.
Okay.
Now, something changes over here, and we've got, okay, I'm going to just put that all in light. I'm going to have that in light, that in light. I'm going to have all of that in light, and that's in light, this is in light, this is in light. I think I have all my shadows in. If anybody else sees another shadow, let me know. But I think that's all we need. That's a lot of shadows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, like that's quite a few masses. So let's go to our light. I'm just changing brushes. And Natasha, brightest, lightest area, and what color would you do it?
I would do lemon yellow mixed with white right in the middle of the painting in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Right.
It's so nice that that is really obvious. It's really fun doing stage 1, really. Especially having you all guide me through it. It's like, do you know how nice that is? Oops, here we go. Hey, I'm leaving spaces because this is the most vulnerable color. And, you know, we can decide if we're going to do the squiggly through here or if we're just going to do it just solid yellow, or what other color could we use?
Pink.
Yeah, we could use pink.
Yeah.
You could do the whole thing pale pink. You could do the whole thing pale yellow. It feels more yellow here and more pink here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna put this mostly yellow down here. There we go. Okay, how's that for yellow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does that work? And then I'll do the rest pink. Okay, just looking. Yeah, I'll just do the rest pink. I'm not going to worry about the shape right now. I'm just going to make it super simple. And you can also just make it solid and then put in your variations later. All right, yellow. Next, brightest, lightest, brightest yellow. Obviously, what are these? Goldenrod?
I think so.
Yeah. So should I use my CAD yellow, the warmer yellow?
Yeah.
Should I
I
use?
would.
Okay.
Yeah.
But look at the reflection. So if I use it here, what am I going to use here as a reflection?
Well, that looks more orange to me.
Okay.
Indian yellow.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, being super, super careful here. It is actually kind of fun to do the darks first. And I won't be able to get too close just because I'm trying to go as fast as I can for you guys. Go to here. And I'm just going to make this simple and just make this color too, rather than change it. Just make it a simple mass there. Okay, then I've got kind of a light green over here. So I'm just going to do that pale yellow. And I like your suggestion of Indian yellow through the middle so that we get a different yellow going. And you know, this is so good to map it out. If you map it out, then you can use your colors a little bit more, have a little bit more strategy with them. Okay. And doing it this way, you may have to do a few more wipe-offs with your brush because you may run into a little bit of color on it, but it's great to leave little spaces. We'll just be like Susan today. And it actually goes all the way through. So I didn't quite get that. Got that.
What value is that?
Sorry?
That yellow. What value is that?
Ooh, what do you think?
Like a 2.5, 3?
Yeah, I think that would be good. It's a darker yellow, so it's definitely a 3.
Okay.
And just going
I'm
over.
gonna be cheating a little right now, writing down my values before I start.
Okay, I think I've got it. Just gonna put it in here. And there we go. Yeah, I think that's good. So what have I got left? Oh, should go into pink.
Yeah.
Let's get the pink done. Grab a bit more white. You guys can see how messy my palette is. There is structure in chaos. And it's going to be very light value. And I'm just going to put it down in here. And I'm not going to make any little differences down here. It's just I want it a little bit bluer down here. Then I want it right where the lightest, brightest is. Okay, there we go. And, oh, this little piece down in here, right in the front, has a lot of light on it. Natasha.
Well, I see it as Indian yellow, actually, the same brightness as that band of yellow in the background.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hands up.
I
Or-
actually see it as a lighter one. You could pretty much do it any yellow. What I'm looking at is a little tiny leaves, and I'm looking
Yeah.
at how light they are, and that they feel a bit cool, almost cool to me. So if I did this in shadow, I might do it cerulean blue.
Mhm.
If I do it in light, it feels like a pale, pale, pale yellow. That's just me. Anyone else? Like I love everybody's thoughts, so I am going to just do it a pale yellow. Anyone else have thoughts?
I initially had pink, like a pale pink in there.
Yeah, pale pink would work. It's going to make the green, so just think pink and green, it's going to make it very dull. And I find that it's not really dull. That's
Okay.
not the feeling I get when I look at that one. Now that actually feels too bright compared to, so Natasha, you're correct in a way that the yellow needs to be a little deeper. So I'm just going to quickly put a layer of cad yellow on there.
Did you use cad lemon there as well?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So now I've pulled it apart because this is the brightest. Nothing else should be that bright as this piece here.
Mhm.
And that had matched it too much, so we pulled it
Mhm.
apart. So yes, Natasha, well done. Okay, let's go to, we've got all these gorgeous greens in here. So what color do we want to put underneath them? I would say they're mostly in light. I'm going to paint them in light. So what color of yellow should I put underneath all of these? Nina,
Okay, how about an orange?
that's interesting. I am going to put some orange.
Mhm.
Put some orange down here. And I'm probably going to put some orange across the back.
Okay.
I want, so if I put orange and then put green on top of it, oh yes, I'm going to get a nice warm green.
Mhm.
I will. So what's my closest yellow to orange?
Indian yellow?
And yellow.
Yeah, so I could go Indian. Let's just see what happens when I go Indian. And especially if I just put it on straight, so that it doesn't compete with this Indian here. We want to pull it apart between this Indian. I could have also gone in shadow and gone to one of my blues, but I see it more in light. So you have to kind of decide. And if you can't decide if it's in half light, half shadow, just go ahead and do it magenta. And Carolyn, I have thought about what you have said every day when you said, why did Susan pick those colors?
Yeah.
And I'm curious what the group thinks. Why do you think Susan picked these particular colors? And then magenta. Like, I've never heard of anyone saying magenta crosses over into shadow. Does anybody have any thoughts?
I have some thoughts about it. In Susan's book, there's a rainbow spectrum of color. And, the acronym is Roy G. Biv. So red could be the alizarin, orange, yellow, different yellows, blues, the cobalt probably. I for indigo, but that could be ultramarine blue or crossover to dioxazine purple and then the violet, and that spectrum runs through all colors. It's just the refraction of light. That's just what I thought. It's a vague thought.
What about the magenta? I think you're right on. What about the magenta?
Well, maybe that fits in the red. I'm not sure. It's just,
As it's turning.
but it also fits in the violet,
Yeah. Yeah, it's the color that's turning over
Yeah.
from light to shadow. Okay, so I pulled this apart from this Indian, and that's the most important thing. Um, I could even do it even more straight out of the tube if I want to, if I need to make it a little bit different in intensity. But I think it works. And then I just want to go back to what color is back here? So Ophelia, what was your color you had at the very top? Do you remember? That's okay if you don't.
I had orange in there at the top.
Great. Let's go. Um, I have orange too. Natasha, what did you have?
I did Indian yellow, but now I've changed my mind and I would do an orange.
Okay. Just to pull it apart?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I changed my mind a couple of times and I was really glad that I mapped it out. I'm now putting my little color codes right on my canvas like you are, which I've never done before. And it is helping me to map it out really nicely. So let's just see if we've got the right value. I can go a little closer because I'm yellow. Yeah, that feels the right value when I squint. It looks pretty good. And I'm just going to take it back here because there's a little piece here. So it's orange and white. It's about a value of 3. And then I've got a little piece down here that's in light. So we had the blue go through for the shadow. And then I've got this kind of pinky magenta something over here. The very end. So this is the water where the purple starts. This is just above the water on the right hand side. So I'm actually just going to make a pink
Oh yeah, I see that.
because it feels pink, really feels pink to me. And it pulls apart really nicely, and it could be just a little bit darker pink. I'm just going to go over it and make it just a bit darker. There we go. And what have I got left? I've got 3 little blobs here. So this and this could be the same. Let's just make the top of that, oh, and then the bottom of that. Okay, so it's that crazy deep green again. So I'm just going to make this whole section. See that green, lovely little green grass there? Is it in shadow or is it in light?
It's in both. Oh, like
Yeah.
shadow
Yeah.
at the bottom and then light on the top.
But if you really squint, it feels like it's in shadow. Does anybody else think it's in shadow?
I guess I was feeling it was more in shadow. Or, yeah, dominating the color choice. But
Yeah, so I mean we could do it Indian yellow because that's a very deep yellow to get a really nice deep green on top. Or we could already go ahead and do it some blue. So I think if we did it a blue, I would probably pick, okay, we've got cerulean. It could be cerulean or cobalt. Natasha,
Do it cobalt.
cobalt, okay. Because it's a bit warmer. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Here we go. So how many masses do I have on my picture? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 17. And I tried to make it really simple. Questions?
We have still another little section at the pond at the bottom right.
Oh,
The
great.
pond.
What color would you like me to do that?
Cerulean,
Oh,
violet.
okay, I see it as a little warm piece, almost like an
Mm.
orange coming through. Or just continue the Indian yellow through. Why don't we continue the Indian yellow through?
Okay.
And then it's just one mass. I was trying to pick up on the color because that's what my antennas usually do, is pick up on the color. There we go. Okay, questions? It's actually it's got a pretty composition with different bands of different widths and kind of different shapes. And then this here, it has a lot of structure, even though it is a landscape. Yeah, I can't wait to do stage 2.
Okay.
Questions or?
Mm.
Everybody ready to go?
Mhm.
Oh, where's that enthusiasm? Okay, Nina's already painting, which is great. And okay. It is wonderful that we're all doing the same. It, it's making it more interesting for me as a teacher just to see the variations. Who would like help first? Is anyone in dire need? Nina, why don't I just go check in on you because you're already.
Okay, wait, let me turn this around. Can you see that? No. Can you see kind?
Mhm.
Okay. So I think like my Indian yellow, just straight out of the tube, is a little different color, I guess because it's a different paint.
Yep, they're all different with different brands. Yeah, yours is a little bit more yellow. Mine was a bit more orange.
Yeah.
And not to worry. I have a whole bunch of different Indian yellows. That's just the one I picked today, so yours is perfect. How is it painting dark to light?
That's I'm just like to switch the brushes and all that. So I kind of start, yeah,
Great.
it's okay because I don't really know the difference of painting light to dark, so dark to light. So it's really half a dozen one or the other to me.
Okay, perfect. Do you have any questions? I think I've got mine up on the screen so you can see it.
Okay.
But just think it through too as you do it. Just see if you can just get your brain in there a little bit and just go, why am I doing it?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I've got, a lot of the colors were the colors that I had picked already. So it's just the fact of reorientating onto the canvas where like the line is for the pod and everything. But yes.
Yeah, I see you have the pink at the bottom, and I think you had the yellow right where the pond went. So this one made more sense, did it?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
I mean, it all kind of makes sense. It's just the fact of learning what works, like what's cooler, what's lighter, what's warmer, and all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's pulling it together in a complex way.
Correct.
All right. Okay, I see Helen. Helen, I'm just going to pin you for a sec.
Yeah, I do have a question.
Okay. Oh, right. Yes, you're
Well,
going
since this is, since each choice is very dramatic because it is the big thing, I just wanted to check my choice for the middle. I had said cobalt blue. Do you think that, because I didn't see you using it there, so I just didn't know if I had been, if that was the best choice for.
Could make a choice. You've got a lot of things that are in light and shadow. My only concern is that band of yellow that goes through, that I would want to make that yellow as opposed to in shadow. It's going to be really hard to bring it up later. Do you think you could add one more mouse?
Yes, I did have that in there because I did get nervous. I started to draw a few more shapes, but I do have that line up here, you mean?
In the water.
Oh, in the water?
Water.
So across the water?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I did wonder about that. You're
Yeah,
right.
so I think what you've done is perfect. And then what I would do is you're painting light to dark. So go ahead and put your lights in, your big bands of light. You don't have to draw them. You can see them. Go ahead and just put them in. They're really
in the water.
important that you get those in. If
Okay.
you don't, it will look like it's a cloudy day.
Okay, well, yeah, because I was trying to remember when we did the the pairs and you had the black and you were saying Susan would put the dark down and go on top and then
Right,
it's the
right.
same dilemma I felt.
Yeah, except that it's a sunny day. So I think we need to paint the yellows yellow that we see.
Okay.
And then I think everything else will be fine with the way that you've simplified it. I'm just looking to the right of the yellow. What color are you doing? Oh, you've got two masses there. Oh, great. Okay. And you'll just pull those apart. It's just the water and the golden rods above the water. Those two just so need to be.
Well, especially after my experience with the yellows in the landscape, or like not being able to get them yellow. Anyway, that's why I just wondered about how she was, how many masses to put in. So I just didn't.
She would definitely put the lights in for sure.
Okay.
The light and the dark are the most important, and to put those in correctly
Okay.
is the most important thing. The light and the dark map out your composition.
Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I'm just going to stop the recording. And I feel like I want to start with my pond and put in a blue. So I'm going to ask Nina, what blue would you put in the top where the yellow is? So the blue is slightly lighter and probably a little bit warmer. So what is your warmest blue? Do you remember? Go ahead and guess. Okay, so we have cerulean, cobalt, and ultramarine. Oh, Nina, you've turned off your sound.
I did. Sorry.
Okay, what blue am I?
Oh, cerulean blue. Oh, I thought I said that. Oh, I guess it was me. Cerulean
Yeah, perfect.
blue.
I'm going to do cerulean. I don't think I would do manganese because it just doesn't feel quite green enough, but you could. So here we are with ponds, and you can let the color underneath show. You don't have to cover it as much, and I think you saw that in some of Susan's paintings that I showed you when we started. And I'm going across because it's a very still pond, and I'm going to make my marks probably fairly smooth. This is the smoothest part of the painting. And it is turning a little bit green, which is fine. But see how the cerulean is dulling the yellow beautifully? I'm just going to ask if everybody pin me so you can just see it a little bit better. Here we go. And it's just a little bit more right in here. Okay, Natasha, what blue would you use over the pink right below it?
Tricky,
Sorry?
tricky.
Tricky? We don't have that color.
I know.
Okay, so it's a little
What do you think?
darker. It's a little deeper. It's a little cooler.
Cobalt.
Yeah, I'd
Sure.
probably go cobalt or ultramarine. I don't think it would really matter. Let's just go cobalt because it's the next blue. So I just want you to see that it does go cooler and a little darker. I've got it a bit too dark there. I'm going to let some of that pink show through.
Yeah, that's Ruby snoring if you can hear it.
What's that?
Can you hear Ruby snoring?
Oh, we love our animals so much. I don't have kitties crying anymore. They don't ever want to go out to the patio anymore. Wait, oh. They kind of look at us when we get all bundled up and go, wow. Can you see how much cooler that is? You can still see the pink coming through though, which I love to show in ponds. And again, I'm going directly horizontal because this is going to be the smoothest and I really need to lay it down. So there we go. Let's go to, okay, I'm just thinking, let's go to a nice big area. Oh, maybe I should get, okay, keep my brushes clean. I'm just talking to myself where I want to go next. And yeah, I'm going to leave my yellows for now. I think I want to do this big mass here. So Helen,
Okay.
what color would you use?
Which mass?
Ah, this really big one here. That's
Oh,
yellow. And basically we're doing the color we see now in the photograph.
oh, well, it's kind of a bright green to me.
Yeah. So when you're doing your greens, it's okay if you wish, if you see a bright green, it's okay to add the correct yellow to it. So I'm going to take Viridian and I'm just, see how I'm adding yellow to it? And it became a super bright green.
Which yellow? Is that the cad medium?
That's just lemon,
Lemon. Okay.
just the lemon. If I had added the cad yellow, the warmer yellow, it will go, of course, even warmer. But I see it kind of as a bright green also. And so now I'm going to use kind of the side of my brush, not the flat, but turn it on its side and, you know, start to get a little bit of texture in there. And let some of that beautiful Indian yellow show through. And there will be layers in here. In order to make this beautiful clump of grass have individuality, you're going to put in a whole bunch of different colors to make it work. So this is just our first one, and it can be super rough, and letting that gorgeous Indian yellow show through. And I probably don't even have it quite green enough. So I'm just going to go in, mix a little bit more Viridian, and just make it a little, I know this is stage one, I'm just making it a little darker. Viridian is transparent, so it doesn't cover 100%, which is great. And the reason we use Viridian is because it is transparent and it's easy to work with. You don't get stuck with green, like ugly green that you can't do anything with. I think you all understand that we can't start with green. It's funny, when I taught high school, grade 8 to 12, we didn't have green. We didn't have green and we didn't have brown. Kids had to make all those colors. It's great. So there you go. So it's just kind of really nice, has a little bit of texture happening, really nice feeling of texture. So I've got a green clump over here. So I'm just going to do the same thing, and I might just even almost pull straight Viridian into my little pile here that I have. Let's pull this back a bit so you can see it. So I'm just kind of pulling it into what I just used, and it's a little bit darker, but we do have blue underneath. So I'm going to go green first. I could have gone yellow to make it green, but I'm choosing either way would work. I'm just being really careful with my edges. And it's really not turning the right color. So I'm going to put yellow on, and I'm going to use my Hansa yellow or Cad lemon yellow, and just going to kind of, there we go. Now it's starting to turn green. So again, doesn't matter what order. All you want to do is make it look like your photograph now. So there's my green there. Is it dark enough, deep enough? Not quite deep enough. So if I want to darken this green, what would you put on top of it to darken it?
Ultramarine.
Sorry?
Ultramarine.
Ultramarine. It's too cool already.
Okay.
I'm going to get you to go a little bit around the color wheel.
Orange.
Orange.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Orange. Okay. I'm going to pick, I was going to pick violet.
Okay.
Just because I want to keep it a little warm, but I do want to cool it. I want to make it darker. And it's not going darker, so I'm going to go to ultramarine. Thank you. There we go. So this is going to probably have 7 masses when we're finished. But you see, it's a little bit cooler than this green. It's quite a bit cooler. It's going back. It can still have another layer of yellow. And I'm going to try my Cad yellow on it now and just see if I get it. My Cad yellow is warmer, so I'm just warming it up. Again, it doesn't matter the order. Let's try a little bit of Indian. That might just be too warm, but I'm just going to leave that for now and keep working. If I go, oh, I can't quite get it, which I don't feel I have, go work on another area and come back to it. So let's work on the magenta that's in the water. We want to make it look like that beautiful warm green. So if I use my Viridian, what color would I add to my Viridian to make a beautiful warm green?
Indian yellow?
Yeah, Indian yellow would be perfect. So I'm just going to put a bit of Indian over on the side here. Whoops. There goes glacier blue into it. There you go. And you can do this in layers. You don't have to I do like to pre-mix some of my greens. And I think I'm going to now just put straight Indian yellow on it. I'm just going to get the Indian, I think I almost need to get the Indian in first. The green is dissolving it too much. There we go. And now I'm going to go in and use the green that I made. And it's actually a little lighter, so I think I need to add quite a bit of Indian to it. And a little bit of white. I don't know if you can see my little patch down here. There we go. I've almost got a kind of a very light khaki green happening. A little bit hard to see. There we go. Okay. So we've got a nice start with that. It actually does kind of go in here, so a little bit. And then I'm going to say, okay, what is calling me next? And probably this beautiful band of violet that divides the water and the land. So the land is the manganese and the water is the violet. So let's do the water first. Thoughts about this beautiful violet. So let's look, it's actually darker, it's reflecting darker and duller than this, which is the land. But what do you see? Like, you can just go, what do I see?
Orange.
Yeah, I see orange too. Thank you. Make it simple. There we go. There's the orange. Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay, what about the blue? What do you see? So here's where Susan says, okay, move your head back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What's the first color you pick up? And I am picking up pink or magenta. Anybody else?
Hmm.
Was that a yes? No?
No, I see the pink and magenta.
Natasha, what do you see?
I'm kind of not there.
Okay.
Kind of lost right now.
Oh, okay, how can I be more clear?
It's okay. No, because I was shuffling my screen windows around, so I wasn't quite paying attention.
You're so honest. Okay. We're just doing just right above the pond, the blue, and just dulling it slightly. And what color do you see first? And I saw either pink or magenta. So I'm using a very bright magenta with a little bit of white. And that dulled it down really nicely. I think it's, let's go to
Sorry,
the,
what did you use on top of that manganese?
yes, I used quinacridone magenta,
Okay.
Gamblin.
Okay.
I was going to address these two little blue things, and I think I see green, and I see kind of a bright chartreuse green. So I'm going to take my beautiful yellow, head over to either manganese or cerulean. I think I'll pick cerulean and just mix up. It's a little bit too much. I'll just take a bit more yellow and mix up a beautiful little bright green here. And there we go. There. So I'm just going to put a bit of bright green in here. And I'm looking where else I might want to put it. Oh, I'm going to go back here and kind of put in another layer, see if I can get this working because I've got it on my brush. Still not, it's probably going to be my area. It's going to have 10 layers. There we go. Okay, so let's go to this gorgeous orange at the very top for those of you that have the orange. So when you scan back, forth, Ophelia.
Violet, or no, permanent mauve.
Okay, so violet, perfect. Oh, why don't I use, is it okay if I use this color that Opus has? It's kind of a beautiful mauvey lavender.
Yeah. What's it
Okay.
called?
It's called, I think it's called lavender. Let me
I
look.
love it.
It is beautiful. It's called, no, it's called lilac. So,
Lilac.
Lilac.
yeah, they had some pretty interesting colors. I normally don't do this, but because Opus was giving me a bunch of wonderful freebies. I went,
Does
"Oh,
it have a pigment color on the back?
yes, one sec.
What does it say?
I just need glasses for that. It says pigment PB19, P829, PW6.
So it's a violet base then.
Light fastness 2, semi-opaque, series 3. You know what all these mean?
Well, I know the P means pigment, and then the letters next to it mean
Violet.
which pigment it is. So this is violet.
Awesome.
That's the base of it. I just wrote to Golden yesterday about what do the pigment colors mean on the back. And the codes that are behind them, the numerics, mean that is a special formula and it is not to be revealed.
Okay. Well, thank you, Carolyn.
It's just stuff I like.
Yeah. There we go. So I'm letting the orange come through. I love this lilac color. It's beautiful. I could have just made a beautiful light violet or use permanent mauve. Permanent mauve is a little bit duller. This is a bit brighter, lighter. There we go. It's a nice little band color there. The sun is coming out, so skylights are going to start. What do I want to put on this gorgeous dark color down here? I have a bit of violet through here, and then I've got the dioxazine purple.
Orange.
Indian yellow.
Indian yellow. Okay. Anyone else?
I think you need to go into the blues for that, don't you? Because that's both violet and dioxazine purple. So you need a blue yellow mix to go in there.
These are my shadows.
Well, let's give it a try. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, let's make a mess, right?
Yeah.
Let's make a mess.
So that's orange?
No,
No, that's cad yellow?
Indian yellow.
Indian yellow. Okay.
Yeah, going in with Indian yellow. I would have gone in with either orange or Indian yellow.
Okay.
Those would have been my two choices. And because I want to warm it up. I want to warm it up. So some kind of yellow or orange. Orange is another go-to on violet to dull it. This really dark violet. So I just have to be careful I don't lose my value. I think that's quite successful as a first color. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I actually really
I like it.
I'm just going to leave it. It's perfect. What about this band of dioxazine purple that goes across? And this will be the shadows underneath the goldenrod.
Warm. So orange again.
Orange.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's right. Orange. Now I've managed to do this all with a 1/2-inch brush and just wiping it off. 1/2-inch filbert. I'll just kind of show you my brush. Not too small. I used a smaller one. I used this one to start with, and then this is the one I'm using now. Just because I wanted to be really careful with my colors, and there's little edges. But now I can just kind of, slap the colors on and let them have a little bit of texture. I always have 2 or 3 different size brushes. I won't take a brush out of my canola oil if I'm in the middle of painting, so I have to have it out. And sometimes I'll have a duplicate of it, so if I need to go into like pale yellow, I don't have to dip this in canola oil. Other thing that happens with canola oil when you're changing colors is sometimes the oil will go into your painting and when it dries, it will make it shiny. So it's really important to wipe really, really well, and then maybe at the very end, use some kind of a varnish. I use a spray varnish, even though it's not great for the environment, to even out we call it bloom. There's little places that come out and bloom, and they'll be dull and they'll be shiny. And to make it all one, we'll just use a UV, probably not a gloss. It would be either semi-gloss or it would be matte. Most of the time for me, it's kind of more of a matte. All right, we're almost done here. We've got this little piece of yellow down here, and I see some cool, kind of cool greens. You know what I might just do? I might put a little bit of cerulean on it.
Mhm.
Get my brush clean. I'm enjoying using this bigger brush. I'm gonna try to keep this one. So I'm just gonna cool it down with a tiny bit of cerulean. My cerulean's a mess over here. I don't throw away my paint, so I just put what I've been working on to my next palette. And I've been working on a bear, so all these are a little bit sticky. So it's just going to be really, really light. And it's going to slightly green it. Again, I have to just be a bit careful with purple. There we go. And what have I got left? I have got a piece of yellow over here, and it's kind of a yellow-green. So again, maybe I'll just go in with manganese, because it's my warmest green. My warmest green. My warmest blue. There we go. And it's still a little too blue. So let's go for a layer of lemon yellow. There we go.
That's nice.
So it's just starting to maybe a little bit more lemon yellow. Ah, that's better.
Nice.
And then this lovely strip of cad yellow that goes through, and this is the top of the goldenrods. So what would you do with that? Would you just leave it?
Yeah.
Any more thoughts about that?
Maybe you could add some green into it, like.
Ah, okay. I mean, it's pretty perfect the way it is. I mean, when we go into stage 3, you know, I will definitely be breaking it up with greens underneath. But yeah, let's just try it. Let's just, so I'm just taking my beautiful, this is cerulean blue and yellow and a bit of white. It's a really lovely kind of light green. And just, again, I'm gonna kind of go with it, with the brush strokes, get them going already. Kind of like you do with your animals when you, when you need to put texture in for their fur right away. You just start it right away.
Oh, that's pretty.
So just a little bit. It's not a lot. I don't even know if you can actually see it, but that was a good suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Makes a difference.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, I forgot to do down here, the purple down here, and I'm just gonna sock in some orange. That's what I see. It's because it's warmer. It's rich. It's really rich underneath. This is a really interesting clump. I kind of think there's going to be some neat layers coming through. And as you learnt on your landscape, like those colors don't come out of the tube. Okay, last band is this band of Indian yellow that goes just right above this reflection. And what's your first color you see in it? Anyone?
The orange or magenta, which is weird.
Okay, so we've
I'm
already
sorry, this is the Indian yellow band in the water, right? Brightest?
yeah, brightest. So does it need to be brighter?
Yes, more yellow.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I'm just going to put pure yellow on it and see what I get. Okay, I had a bit of white in there. I'm taking the white out and just going now to pure Hansa yellow or lemon yellow. Just trying to find some clean yellow, and I'm just brightening it a bit more. So Helen, that was a good choice to put that in because I don't think you would get there with it being in shadow.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I'm squinting. So here's stage 2. I'm squinting, going back, forth, back, forth. This feels too dark right here. I want the darkest here. I don't want the darkest back here because what's going to do is flatten your picture. Because this and this are, you're going to go back forth because they're so exciting with contrast, it's going to flatten it. So I need to lighten and dull this. And you know, there's a ton of different ways of doing it. I could put more orange in. I could put a little bit of pink in. I could put light blue in. Okay, what would you do as your first layer?
Hi, this is Helen. I might start with the blue.
Yeah.
Which blue?
It might be a cobalt blue. I mean, it's still
Yeah, let's try cobalt.
Yeah.
bridging between the shadow
I'm
and
going to
the
make the value a little lighter so that that's maybe too light. Okay, just a little lighter. Ah, there we go. Ah, yes. Yeah, good choice. It's starting to dull and I've slightly made it lighter. So it's
Yeah.
dulling lighter. So it's now going back into the background. Now you're getting that wonderful atmospheric perspective.
Nice.
Yeah, good choice of color. Okay, so now we're looking at, does anything need to be, these are too bright. You see that? They're like leaping forward. So we want to dull these two little spots here. Ophelia, what would you put on the green to dull it?
Orange.
Orange, okay. Or,
Pink.
yeah,
yeah.
pink, orange, magenta. I always use a bit of pink. There we go. Ooh, look how that just, I'm going to use magenta on this one. Push it back even further. Pink on the front one, magenta on the back one. Oh, look how that's nice. And I'm going to use a little bit of magenta on this. Orange would have been fine too. Here we go. And, okay, just looking. This is a little bright over here. See that little clump of yellow, green, whatever? So we need to dull, again, it's green. So let's just go pink. Let's go across the color wheel, very lightly though, and just dull it. There you go. See how that went back? Oh, a little hard because my skylight's right there, sorry. I'll put a bit more pink in so you can see it. Probably can't see it. Okay, and I feel like I need to put a bit more green on it. So I just picked up a bit of my warm green that I made with Meridian and yellow. So now it's not quite so obvious. So you want the things in the back to stay in the back. So this pink is a little too bright here. What will we put here? Maybe violet? Maybe blue? I'm just going to pick up violet. There we go. See how that pushed it back? Oh, that's so nice. Just pushed it back, just gently, ever so gently. There we go. And this feels too exciting. Just a little too exciting. It feels like it needs to be dulled a little bit. And this one feels like it needs to be warmed up a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of blue, cobalt blue, in this one, just to dull it. Because I don't want it to be the star of the show. I mean, it's a nice little area. Can you see that? Is that? Again, it is greater in real life. It's amazing what we can do as Zoom, that we can actually all get together. And we're across North America in 4 time zones. It just kind of does amaze me. Okay, so basically this was a warm, cool problem. And we just put cool over the warm. And that pushed it back. Now I feel like this one needs to be pinker. So I'm going to kind of use the bottom color, which is magenta, quinacridone magenta, and just going to warm it up a little bit. I don't know if I got it enough, but it's a more exciting one. So I'm actually going to go back to my permanent rose, my pink, and I'm going to put pink on it.
Do canvases make a difference, like the quality of the canvases? Because like I have noticed when I'm trying to put paint on it, like I have to use a lot of paint.
Oh, did you gesso your inexpensive canvases?
No,
Yes,
that's why.
yes.
Okay,
You need
I
to
think you
gesso
said
them
that in the first
Yeah,
one of
it's
our
just
first
gonna tuck
classes.
it in. Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna gesso. Well,
yeah.
I don't even have gesso. I'm gonna buy some and try that.
I would always have gesso. I'll tell you why. Because sometimes you do a drawing and you think you're going to do
Uh-huh.
a painting, and then you go next week, no, there's no way. And so you try to scrub it off, and then you
Uh-huh.
end up scrubbing off some of the gesso that's there. But really what you need to do is just wipe off the charcoal, re-gesso it, and away you go. So it's good to have gesso. So you can,
And can gesso fix like mistakes? Like let's say you wanted to go over top of something that's already been painted. If you wanted to start over, could you just gesso over the paint?
not over oil
No.
paint. So
Okay.
what I have done, and that's a super good question. I know we're running out of time. We've got 10 minutes, but I think we're good. I'll show you what I've done. When we first came to this farm, my first painting was going to be a lovely landscape of our pond, and I hated it. So I scraped it, and then I put titanium white on it, just
Uh-huh.
so that it's not perfect.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is put oil paint on it. You can't put gesso on it unless you're
Okay.
using acrylic. Then you can. So this is what
Okay.
my 20 looks like, and it'll be fine because I'll be able.
That's actually really cool. Like it's got some nice textures in there.
Yeah, it was a pond that didn't work because it was too complicated. All right, so basically, I'm probably going to stop in a sec. Basically, what I want you to see is the bands of colors going back.
Yeah.
And it's a little easier in this one. This is a little too exciting right down here. It's a little too bold, too exciting. It needs to be dull, needs to be greener, so I will do that too. But I want you to step back when you're looking at your picture. This is working really well. I love that we put yellow and pink and then put blue, 2 different kinds of blue. That's already starting to go like, oh, we can also see kind of 3D happening. This does bring you to the back, but it's still too strong. It needs a few more layers of dulling. And of course this does too, and this is still a little too bright for me. I would probably put another blue over it and then work some greens on it. But I just kind of want to show you, I think you're all good, and what I will do is I'll take a picture of this and send it to you. So you've got this. And then if we can all again share like last time, that was amazing. It was amazing, everybody sharing their versions of doing it. Will just be great. Okay, I'm just going to unpin, and we've got 8 minutes left to for everyone to have a little say at the end.
Diane, there's a little right by the big bush, the grass clump at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's a little wedge